but the temperature is nice. Sun is shining a little bit. And it's been an interesting series so far this weekend between the Knights and the Seawolves, Chris. In the first two games, we've seen the Knights fall behind. Both games, 3-0 deficits in the first inning in the first game. And then the second inning, they found themselves down 3-0. But both times, the offense has proven that there's really no deficit that they can't overcome. First game, they put up a bunch of runs, scoring 7 to come back from that 3-run deficit. Last night, they put up 8 runs on the board, coming back from that 3-run deficit. Today, what are you looking for?
Yeah, and it's something we spoke about yesterday. We saw the snowball effect from this UCF team. Once they get on a roll offensively, there's just no stopping them. They put up 4 in the 4th inning last night, and they put up 4 in the 7th inning on Friday night. They just have those innings where they can put as many runs on the board as they want, and that's going to be critical. And Coach Lovelady's going to look to actually get that a little earlier. And maybe they can put away this game a little bit earlier than they'd like to, and give a little more cushion to Jason Barr, who's going to be on the mound for the Knights, and the bullpen of the Knights as well.
Yeah, that's something Luke Hamlin talked about yesterday in the post-game interview, is that once one guy gets a hit on this ball club, it's just the next guy gets a hit, the next guy gets a hit, and it just keeps on rolling around like that. And that's exactly what we saw in the 4th inning yesterday, where they came back from that 3-run deficit, put up 4 on the board to take the lead, and then eventually they ran away with it. In the first game, they put up 4 runs in the 7th inning to run away with that one. And today, of course, as you mentioned, they're going to be looking to not fall behind in a 3-0 deficit again today. And you mentioned Barr on the mound, getting his 3rd start of the year. So far this year, pitched 9 1/3 innings, has given up 7 hits, only 3 runs total, 2 walks, but 14 strikeouts. So his strikeout to walk ratio 7-1 to start off this year. So Jason Barr, a guy who is not even really looking to be a key contributor to the ball club this year, has been one of the most important parts of this Knights ball club.
Yeah, and Barr's done a really good job of settling in that number 3 spot for the Knights on the weekends. He's done a good job on Sunday games, and just giving the Knights a chance to win every time he comes out, and that's what you need from a starter. As long as you get that chance to come out and get a win, the offense is going to get it done. So good job from the starters. Robbie Howell and Juan Pimentel. They struggled a little early on in their games, but Pimentel did a good job of bouncing back last night, and Howell as well. So we'll see if Barr can maybe steady it a little early on in the game compared to what the starters have done this weekend.
Yeah, and the bullpens have been huge this weekend for the Knights. We saw in the first game Trent Thompson and Thaddeus Ward combining for 5 innings pitched, giving up 0 runs combined, so that was huge from them after Robbie Howell's bit of a rough start. And then last night, after Juan, as you mentioned, settled down well in his last couple of innings, went 6 total, but after him, Bryce Tucker, the guy who's been the closer for the Knights this year, came in, got a save a different way, pitching the last 3 innings of the game, put up 3 zeros on the board, no walks, only 1 hit, so he was absolutely lights out last night.
Yeah, and Bryce did a great job last night. The bullpen's just done a great job in general this season. Between Bryce, Thaddeus Ward, we've seen Jordan Sheffs come in and pitch well for the Knights, as well as Chris Williams, who's been one of those two actually started the midweek games against Joe Sheridan as well. Those are some of the guys that started those midweek game against Florida. They've done a good job out of the bullpen, a great job, and you can't give them enough credit for what they've done this season.
Absolutely, Chris. And here at the UCF Baseball Complex, once again, my name is Kevin Craig. This is Chris Losada next to me. We're going to take a short break here for the national anthem and be right back here on UCFKnights.tv. Welcome back to the UCF Baseball Complex for the bottom of the first inning here. Eli Putnam leading off for the Knights after Stony Brook able to put a run on the board in the top of the first inning. On the mound for Stony Brook today is Brian Herman, a freshman, getting his 2nd start of the year, 3rd appearance overall. Has pitched 9 innings this year, given up just 1 earned run, 2 runs overall, 8 hits and 2 walks compared to 6 strikeouts. So he's got a 3-to-1 strikeout ratio going. And the first pitch from him to Putnam is a fastball fouled back to the screen for strike 1.
Yeah, we should see a pitching duel between these two guys. Jason Barr's done a really good job this season for the Knights, and Brian Herman's been really, really good for the Stony Brook Seawolves. You mentioned that 1 ERA, just 1 allowed run in 9 innings.
Comes with a breaking ball there, moving the count to 1-1 as it misses upstairs. Herman, a tall guy, 6'4", but comes in at 170 pounds. So just like Barr, he's a little bit lanky. And he comes with another fastball there. That time jams Putnam, and he's not able to get to it in time. So the count goes to 1-2.
And Putnam's done pretty well this series. 3 for 9 with 2 RBIs, 3 runs, a double and a triple to his name this weekend.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Herman to Putnam. And that time it misses upstairs, 2-2. Yeah, I was just about to say that he's having a pretty good series, but you could say that about almost every series this guy plays in. He's been killing it all season long.
Yeah, he's hitting 409 up to coming into this series.
The 2-2 misses outside, so Putnam's worked the count to a full count after falling behind 1-2. And Putnam, while he's not your prototypical leadoff hitter, he's done a good job of playing that role this year, seeing a lot of pitches, getting on base a lot this year. And this time he fouls one off to stay alive.
Yeah, and you mentioned him getting on base a lot. He really has. He's second on the team in runs scored. He's got 12 on the season already. Also leads the team in hits. So really he's done a great job of just being that guy that sets the tone for the Knights this year.
Yeah, second on the team in on-base percentage as well at a .480 percentage. Here comes the 3-2 again. That time it misses outside just barely, so Putnam will take his base, and it'll be Luke Hamlin stepping in to face Herman.
Yeah, and Putnam's doing a good job. I mean, he's doing everything he can to set the tone for this team. You know, looking back just to the first at-bat of his season, which was the home run to lead off the game against Siena. He's just set the tone for the Knights this year offensively. And he's done a good job defensively in right field as well.
And another guy who's been having a great season here, Luke Hamlin at the plate, hitting .472 coming into today. And the first pitch to him is a fastball that catches the outside edge for a strike.
Yeah, and Hamlin on the series is 2 for 6. He's also gotten on base 3 times via walk and once by hit by pitch. Has 3 RBIs and 3 runs. Had those 2 clutch RBIs last night.
Yeah, yesterday really helped out the Knights with some insurance runs late in that game. Here comes the 0-1 delivery. He's going to ground this one just foul down the first base line. In that game last night, the Knights were up by 1, but Luke Hamlin with the bases loaded, 2 outs, came up with a huge single into left field that really put that one away for the Knights.
Yeah, and Hamlin mentioned last night in the post-game interviews that Eli Putnam was a real help in that bat before. He fouled off like maybe 4 or 5 pitches, 6 pitches, and allowed maybe put a chink in the armor for the pitcher and allowed Luke Hamlin to get that RBI single.
Herman delivers the 0-2, but not before time is called by Luke Hamlin. Herman did come set and sat there for a few seconds, sort of disrupted the rhythm for Hamlin, and he was just able to get the time called. But the count is still 0-2 here. Eli Putnam at first over after the leadoff walk. Nobody out. Herman getting a new sign here. Gets what he wants, comes set. And now the 0-2 is delivered high. Hamlin fouls it off out of play to the left side. And we'll do the 0-2 again.
And we mentioned Herman taking his time there once he sets. Want to keep Eli Putnam close, even though he's not your prototypical guy leading off, like you mentioned. Maybe doesn't have as much speed as maybe Luke Hamlin does in this lineup. He still is 4 for 5 in stolen base attempts. He's a really good base runner. Is just able to read the pitchers very well. So Herman's doing a good job of holding him there on first base.
0-2 count. Nice little breaking ball there from Herman, but that misses outside and low for a ball. So Hamlin gets the count to 1-2 now. Also to mention, Luke Hamlin, one of 2 guys on this team who's a perfect 5 of 5 in stolen base opportunities. Matthew Micah is also 5 for 5 on the year. And Eli Putnam over at first base is 4 for 5 on the year. So the Knights been very aggressive on the base paths this year. As the 1-2 is delivered, and Hamlin completely fooled on a changeup there, goes down swinging for the first out.
And that was good off-speed stuff there from the pitcher. Freshman Brian Herman just came with that nasty changeup away from the lefty Luke Hamlin and was just caught him sleeping. I think Hamlin was expecting fastball there. Swung a little early, had to try to make up for the mistake, but just wasn't able to get back in time and make the swing.
So stepping in now will be Rylan Thomas, getting his 9th start of the season, hitting .375. Had a big day at the plate yesterday. Went 2 for 5, had an RBI. And the first pitch to him here as Putnam takes off. The throw down to second, and Putnam's going to beat it. So big stuff there from Putnam. After Hamlin was unable to advance him, Putnam takes matters into his own hands and is now in scoring position with 1 away.
And he gets the jersey dirty there and gets his 5th stolen base on the season. That ties him for the lead with, as you mentioned, Matthew Micah and Luke Hamlin. And Putnam's done a really good job of just moving himself over and getting those stolen bases when the team needs him to.
And that pitch was a ball to Thomas, by the way, so the count 1-0. Good opportunity for Thomas here with the wind blowing almost straight towards third base. And that's a strike delivered on the inside half of the plate. So the count goes to 1-1. Thomas, a freshman from not too far away from here, played his high school ball at Windermere Prep. Has been a big player for the Knights, not just with the bat, but also on the mound.
Yeah, he's been a very versatile guy defensively. You could put him at first base, put him at the corner, at third base, also in the outfield. He's just done a really good job for the Knights.
And that 1-1 delivery fouled away, out of play.
Thomas actually came into last night's game after going over 4 in the Friday game. Started off the game over 2 and was over 6, and then came up with a clutch single that gave him an RBI and then pretty much sealed the game.
Yeah, and on the mound, he's appeared in 3 games, pitched 4 innings, only given up 1 hit and 1 walk with 6 strikeouts. So huge stuff on the mound from him. As he faces a 1-2 count with 1 away, Putnam at second. And he's going to shoot this one into right center field. This is going to tie up the ball game. Thomas is going to get to second as that one gets past the right fielders and center fielder. And Rylan Thomas comes up big once again for the Knights with an RBI double.
Yeah, and that's big stuff there from Rylan Thomas. Bounces back after being over 6 in a little slump, a mini slump, and just bounces back, and now he's got another RBI to his name after getting one last night.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. That was a great at-bat. Fell behind into a 1-2 count. Sort of shortened up his swing a little bit. Just sent one into right field. Went with the pitch. And was able to split the right and center fielders who were playing a little bit shallow. Got it by both of them. And Thomas was actually pretty close to maybe even trying to get to third on that one. Just because the outfielders were playing so shallow. But he gets an RBI double to tie up the game anyway. And now it's Kyle Marsh stepping in to hit with a runner on second. 1 out. And Kyle Marsh, another guy who's been big with the bat this year. Hitting .436 on the year. 2 home runs, 15 RBI. And he watches strike 1 go right by him. Kyle Marsh, a guy who wasn't able to play much last year. Had some injury issues. But Coach Lovelady and the Knights definitely glad to have him back this year.
Yeah, and Marsh has been raking for the Knights this year. Doing well this series, 4 for 7 with a home run and 4 RBIs.
And then a curveball in there makes the count 0-2. Yeah, that home run he hit yesterday was absolutely crushed. Sent that one. There's a street out past the fence in left field. I would imagine he
crossed it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Easily.
It was a no-doubter last night from Kyle Marsh. He as soon as he got a hold of that one, everybody in the park knew that one was gone.
But here he faces an 0-2 count, 1 away. Ryan Kreil on deck. Herman delivers, goes with the fastball on the outside edge, tries to paint it, but doesn't get the call that time. So Marsh works the count to 1-2. That's something Herman's been doing a lot today, at least from what we've been able to tell in the first few pitches he's thrown, is he's trying to paint those edges a lot. Doesn't throw too hard.
And he's done a good job of locating his pitches. Just Rylan Thomas was able to get a hold of one that he wasn't able to locate, and that's been this inning right here. I mean, he's done a good job of locating the pitches. Just has the ones that he hasn't been able to locate. Just nice hitters have been all over it.
Marsh fouls away a curveball to keep the at-bat alive. It's still a 1-2 count. Marsh playing left field today after getting some time at first base and at the DH position in the first couple series of the season. Now he's sort of been locked into that left field role as Bryce Peterson has locked down the DH spot. But Peterson capable of playing left field as well. And here comes the 1-2 delivery now from Herman. That time it misses upstairs. We saw Thomas at second base sort of bluff a steal, but didn't really grab the attention of anyone.
Yeah, and with the unfortunate injury of Brennan Bozeman, it gives the Knights a little less flexibility with their lineup. Micah now forced to start at third, where he was a guy who could play third, a little bit of second, and Kryle could move over to first base, play a little left as well. So it's kind of locked down the lineup, and Ryland Thomas surging, also, surging and locking down that first base spot is also just forced this lineup to kind of settle down and not make as many movements on the field. Now in the batting order, that's a different story. We see Cam Gellinger actually move to the 9 hole after moving to shortstop, and he's done a great job there in that position, and he's been a good second leadoff batter, as they call it, for the Knights.
Another breaking ball missing outside, so Marsh sees the count go full here. Big pitch here for Herman. Here comes the 3-2. Thomas bluffs a steal again, and that one's grounded just foul down the third base line. Yeah, and you mentioned that injury to Bozeman is a really big blow to this Knights defense. The infield with very little flexibility now. I mean, at first base you have a few options, but other than Kryle at second, Gellinger at short, and Micah at third, you don't really have anyone on the bench capable of starting every day. You have Brooks Morgan, who can play all 4 infield positions, but he's a guy that you can't really have his bat in the lineup every day. He's more of a defensive specialist. So it'll be difficult to see, or difficult for the Knights to handle these next few weeks with Bozeman out. As the 3-2 is delivered again, Marsh is going to ground this one to second. Thomas can advance to third as the second out is made. So that's still a productive at-bat for Marsh, as Ryan Kryle will step in.
Yeah, and that's the key to that at-bat. If you are going to ground out, you want to force it over to the right side of the field, so whoever's on second base has a clean chance of making it over to third. If he hits a ground ball over to shortstop or over to third base, it's a different story. Ryland Thomas is forced to stay at second as they can make the play over there. But good job from Marsh, is forcing over that ball, hitting it opposite field. Even if it is on the ground, he moves over Ryland Thomas, and now anything a hit gets in Ryland Thomas here from Ryan Kryle.
Yeah, Kryle stepping in, playing second base today. The first pitch to him from Herman is skied very high into shallow right field. This is going to be a tough play, but it's made by Dylan Resk to end the inning, but not before the Knights are able to put one on the board, tie this one up. It's 1-1 here at the UCF Baseball Complex. You are watching UCF Baseball on UCFKnights.tv. Welcome back to the UCF Baseball Complex for the top of the third inning here. Knights just took the lead. They're up 2-1 with Jason Barr back on the mound facing Dan McAvoy, the number 9 hitter for Stony Brook.
Yeah, and Cam Gellinger came up with a clutch RBI sac fly to give the Knights the early lead here on this beautiful Saturday. Sunday, actually. Sunday game.
First pitch strike from Barr to Dan McAvoy, the second baseman. A sophomore for Stony Brook, and that time misses upstairs for ball 1.
This is the first time that McAvoy appears in this series. He did get a pinch hit last night in the 9th inning, but other than that, it has not started in either of the games.
And that time he fouls one off of himself, is going to hobble around for a couple of seconds as the count goes to 1-2.
Season tickets for the 2017 season of UCF football is on sale now. Catch 7 exciting home games, including matchups with Georgia Tech and conference rivals Memphis, East Carolina, UConn, and USF. For ticket information, call 407-823-1000 or visit UCFKnights.com.
The 1-2 delivery from Barr. Tries to catch that outside edge, but just misses a little bit outside.
And that's good location there from Barr. It looked like a good pitch. 1-2 count. You don't want to give McAvoy anything to hit.
Yeah, McAvoy just 1 for 9 coming into the series. 1 for 10 now after that pinch hit appearance yesterday, and he shoots this one out to right field. Putnam was right there, but Hamlin gets to it in time, calls him off, and puts it away for out number 1.
Yeah, and good location there from Barr after giving that outside and low off-speed pitch that was a ball. He comes inside and jams McAvoy, who's forced to hit it opposite field up in the air. And good play from Hamlin to get there.
And now stepping in for Stony Brook, the leadoff hitter today, Michael Wilson, led off the game with an absolute crush double to right center field before scoring the run for Stony Brook that put them ahead in the top of the first. But there he watches strike one blown right by him.
Yeah, and Wilson's been a run producer here for the Seawolves early on in this series. In the first 2 games, he has 3 RBIs already.
And here he gets a hold of this one again, shooting it out to left center field. Hamlin tailing away from him, but he's able to get over to it in time. So 2 good plays by Luke Hamlin and 2 outs here in the top of the third.
And a good job by Hamlin to get over there and make that play. That's a tough one, especially with the wind blowing out to left field. That ball's going away from Hamlin, but good job to get there and make that play.
Yeah, that time you could tell the ball was really trying to get away from Luke Hamlin into that gap. But Hamlin's too quick out there. Now it's Toby Hanley stepping in. He had a single in his first at-bat of the game. But there he watches strike one go by him.
Yeah, and Hanley crushed a home run last night for Stony Brook later on in the game. Actually, the 6th inning.
Yeah, that actually tied up the ball game yesterday. And here he shoots another single right back up the middle past Barr. And now Stony Brook will have a runner on first with 2 away. I think Hanley's definitely enjoying this trip to Florida. He's seeing the ball very well this series.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. Just absolutely crushing the ball when he sees it.
Now stepping in will be the first baseman, Casey Baker. He's the one who drove in the run back in the first inning, had an RBI ground out to Cam Gellinger. So he's looking for his first hit of the game. Went 0 for 4 on Friday, and then 1 for 4 yesterday. There he watches the first pitch miss outside for a ball.
And going back to Toby Hanley, he's now 5 for 9 in this series. Absolutely seeing the ball really well and crushing it, hitting some pretty hard line drives all over the field.
1-0 count on Baker now, the first baseman for Stony Brook. Barr delivers a fastball right on the edge for a strike. And the count goes to 1-1.
Good location from Barr. He's been able to bounce back when he doesn't get ahead in the count. But most of these at-bats, he's been ahead and just hasn't been. He's been able to finish these at-bats. Just a couple hits here and there, but really it's all solid overall job from Barr so far.
A pickoff move, they caught Hanley leaning. Thomas applied the tag very quickly, but the umpire says Hanley is safe. That one very close.
Yeah, and Hanley is one of the quicker guys for Stony Brook. He did a good job of bouncing back and getting back to the base.
You could definitely tell Hanley didn't get a good read on that, was sort of leaning a little bit when Barr threw it over, but just barely able to get back in time. This time he takes off. George will fire down to second. Gellinger unable to get the tag down in time. And Toby Hanley has his second stolen base of the season.
And that's why Hanley was leaning. He was going all the way. Good job from Barr. He tried to set and wind up really quickly and try to get Hanley off guard there at first base. But Hanley did a good job of reading in and getting that stolen base there.
So now Stony Brook with a runner in scoring position with 2 away. Casey Baker trying to add an RBI to his name, looking for his 5th of the year, and trying to tie this ball game up again. The fastball there misses low, and Baker's got a good count here to work with, 3-1.
Good job from Anthony George there. That ball hit the dirt, but a good job to block it and not allow Hanley to move over to third.
Yeah, something Coach Lovelady mentioned yesterday. Anthony George, definitely a prime defensive catcher for this Knights ball club. The 3-1 delivery is going to be grounded up the middle. It's going to be a tough play for Kryl to his backhand side. Throws over to Thomas, but he's unable to get there in time. So the inning extends for Stony Brook, and they'll have runners on the corners, 2 away, and it'll be Dylan Resk stepping in.
Yeah, that's really good effort there from Ryan Kryl. Almost able to make that play, but Baker hustles that one out and is able to get to first base safely.
Yeah, that one just placed perfectly. Kryl was shaded well over to his glove side towards first base. So when that one was grounded up the middle, was just unable to get there in time. But it's a good thing he did get to it. If he didn't and it got into the outfield, a run probably would have scored. But now it's Dylan Resk's turn. On the first pitch to him, misses low and away for ball 1.
Yeah, and Rest struck out in his first at bat here and is actually 1 for 8 in the series. Hasn't done a good job as of late.
Resk had only started 2 games coming into this series, but has started 2 of them here in Orlando. Here comes the 1-0 delivery to him. That's a strike, so the count now even for Barr. Barr has 3 strikeouts on the day. As Chris mentioned, Resk was the first victim before Barr was able to strike out Rial and Giles as well. Count 1-1 now. And that one just a little bit outside again from Barr, and the count goes to 2-1. That's a tough pitch there.
Yeah, it was a good two-seamer. Looked just a little low, but could have been in the strike zone depending on the umpire.
Yeah, very close. Good take from Resk to get the count to 2-1 in his favor. And now the 2-1 delivery. Fake steal over at first as the count moves to 2-2 now. And Resk in a tough situation here. 2-strike count with 2 away and 2 men on base.
And you saw Barr bring up the fastball just a little bit more to get it into the strike zone. That was a similar pitch, a little bit higher, and he was able to get that one called strike.
I think you'll see Barr just go right at Resk here. He's not trying to dilly-dally on the mound any more than he needs to. And we'll see Anthony George take a brief second to give some signs to the infield, let them know what the play will be if the runner from first does decide to try to steal second.
And we may see Casey Baker take off here.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They're trying to score runs any way they can. If Baker can take off and the ball is thrown, you might see him try to get into a rundown so the runner from third can score. But Baker does not go anywhere as this one's going to be grounded to short. It's a tough play for Gellinger. He's going to barehand throw to first, and he does get the out in time. That's a good play from Cam Gellinger to end the inning, keep a run from scoring. So the Knights able to hold on to their 2-1 lead. Another 0 put up on the scoreboard by Jason Barr. And we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. You are watching UCF Baseball on UCFKnights.tv. Welcome back to the UCF Baseball Complex for the bottom of the 9th inning. The Knights trying to win this one in a walk-off as the score is tied 2-2. Just barely escaped a run-scoring situation for Stony Brook in the top half of this inning as Michael Wilson was on second base and a ground ball was sent up the middle. Wilson went to third and just sort of rounded third and went home because he thought Gellinger would throw to first and was doing so in hopes of a wild throw or something along those lines. But Gellinger ended up not throwing the ball at all, bobbled it a little bit, and Wilson was just caught in no man's land. And so they caught him at home.
And it was a great split-second play from Cam Gellinger. He bobbled the ball, realized that Wilson was going home, made a great throw over, and Anthony George applied the tag quickly, and it was just a great overall play from UCF.
So leading off the bottom of the 9th is Ryan Kryl. So it'll be Kryl, Peterson, and then Matthew Micah in the 9th inning for the Knights. And the new pitcher on the mound for Stony Brook is Cameron Stone. And his first pitch to Kryl misses up and away for a ball.
Stone's been pretty good for Stony Brook. 4 innings pitched, 2 allowed runs. But he has 7 strikeouts in those 4 innings, which is a good clip for a relief pitcher.
The 1-0 from Stone going to be fouled off to the left side for a strike. Yeah, Stone not too big of a guy, but he throws it pretty hard.
And it'll be interesting to see how his off-speed stuff is. New pitcher, of course. UCF has not seen this guy has not appeared in a game against UCF as we see a curveball sail over the catcher.
And Stone's hearing it from the crowd here at UCF. That one went all the way to the backstop in the air, just slipped out of his hand. So the count 2-1 on Kryl here. Let's see how Stone bounces back from that one. Fires a fastball right in there, missing inside. So Kryl gets ahead 3-1. Good advantage count here for him.
Kryl looked like he was trying to get that one to bounce off the elbow pad there. Try to get a free base. But a 3-1 count here, he's got a good opportunity to start off something good here for in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Here comes the 3-1 delivery from Stone. That one's right in there for a strike. And the problem with a day like today is that you're not going to win this game with a walk-off home run unless you absolutely crush it, because the wind's blowing still straight in almost. So you're going to need to manufacture a run somehow. You're going to need to get at least 2 hits to score a run, maybe a sac bunt, maybe a ground ball to the right side to move runners over. And a leadoff walk for Ryan Crile will definitely help the Knights' case here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
And luckily, the Knights have been very good at producing runs. They've done a great job at dropping bunts to move guys over and piecing together a couple hits. So this is it's a good possibility, especially with Crile now on first base and Bryce Peterson up to hit. You've got a dangerous guy at the plate and a dangerous guy on the base paths. It'll be interesting to see how this inning plays out here for the Knights.
Bryce Peterson's a guy who has hit 2 home runs on the year, had a couple RBI this weekend. So he's definitely a dangerous bat, as you just said, Chris. So Ryan Crile over at first with nobody out. Peterson shows bunt. That one's in the dirt. He's going to need to bunt as Crile gets to second on the wild pitch. And that will definitely help the Knights out here.
And that'll change the game plan here for the Knights. Maybe you don't need to bunt Peterson. We'll see what Coach Lovelady does in this situation. Peterson more than adept to just put one in the outfield and move him over on a sac fly, or maybe even bring him in on a base hit into the outfield. We've spoken about how Peterson's powers over to that right center alley. If he can line drive one into right center or into right field, that should be enough to score in Crile.
Infield coming in as Peterson shows bunt again, pulls it back, takes a strike. So you can still go with the bunt here if you want. Move a runner over to third with 1 out. That gives you 2 chances, especially even with 1 out. That gives you so many different ways to score a run. And here he is showing bunt again early. Keeps it out there this time, but another breaking ball slips out of Stone's hands a little bit. So the count goes to 2-1.
I don't know if I personally agree with this strategy. You look behind Bryce Peterson. Matthew Micah is on deck. He's 0 for 3 on the day. And then Anthony George, who just got his first hit of the season, only has 1 hit today.
So here's Peterson still showing bunt, pulls it back again. And now he finds himself in a full count, or a 2-2 count, excuse me. So now he's just put himself in a difficult spot.
And now we'll see what Lovelady does if he decides to take the bat out of one of the better hitters in this lineup. See if that benefits this UCF Knights team.
I think you can just tell Peterson's not too comfortable with the idea of bunting because those 2 pitches that he took weren't that close to being balls, but he just really didn't want to offer at them. So now he finds himself in a 2-2 count, and he's going to go down looking for out number 1. Very upset with himself there. And now it will come down to Matthew Micah with 1 away.
Yeah, and you see him walking away screaming, "No way." But the umpire's been pretty consistent since that one Stony Brook pitch, or it was 2 pitches from Aaron Pinto that were outside called ball, and Stony Brook didn't like it, but since then he's called that outside pitch consistently in this 8th and 9th inning.
Big spot now for Matthew Micah as he watches a first pitch fastball catch the top of the zone from Cameron Stone. You really need to see these Knights hitters be aggressive. Just sitting here watching them take fastballs right in the zone is just not something you want to see from hitters. You got to be going at these fastballs.
Yeah, and Cam Stone did walk the first hitter, but still want to be aggressive if you're a hitter here for UCF as Micah swings through another one.
Yeah, nice off-speed pitch there from Stone, changing it up on Micah. Gets ahead 0-2.
Big spot here for Micah. I mean, he's been struggling as of late, was 1 for 7 coming into today in the series. Now 1 for 10. He's hitting 100 in the series. This could be a big moment here for Micah.
Here comes the 0-2. That one just missing outside. Gutsy take from Micah there, but it pays off for that one.
Yeah, definitely a gutsy take. I mean, that looked like the same pitch that Bryce Peterson just struck out to. Surprised the umpire didn't call that one.
So the first baseman, Casey Baker, is going to have a brief chat with Stone real quick. We do see Anthony George on deck. I was thinking they might go with a pinch hitter considering they have Dallas Beaver or Logan Heiser who could come in to catch after him.
Yeah, surprising we don't see maybe a Logan Heiser or Austin Griffin coming in to pinch hit for Anthony George, who only has one hit on the season.
Could be a decoy for right now. As that 1-2 misses in the dirt to Micah.
Good block there from David Real. Doesn't allow Cryle to get over to third base. And in that situation, Micah could have just dropped a hit, put the ball in play anywhere really, and bring in that run.
So the count's 2-2 on Micah. Really just needs to put a ball in play here. Just trying to get that runner to third. Can't have back-to-back strikeouts in this situation. Stone delivers the 2-2. That one's going to be grounded to third. It's a fair ball. It's knocked down, but a play will not be made. So the Knights have runners on first and second now with one out, and it will be Anthony George walking up to the batter's box. But I think you'll take that from Micah in that situation.
Yeah, and that was a tough play there from the third baseman, Bobby Honeyman. I mean, he has to come in and make that sliding grab. Just really tough for him. It doesn't look like he was able to do that. It looks like we will get a pinch hitter. Coach Lovelady's calling for Max Wood to come in and hit for Anthony George.
Yep, George is going to be called back. And yep, you're right. It is Max Wood. We saw him running along the foul line earlier on in the game in between one of the innings. So Wood's going to get a chance to pinch hit here. And this is going to be just Wood's third at-bat of the year. Has only appeared in 3 games so far. Is 0 for 2 on the year, but has scored 1 run.
It's going to be interesting to see how Max Wood reacts to this situation. See Coach Lovelady putting a lot of faith into Max Wood here to come in with runners on first and second with only 1 out.
Yeah, definitely big opportunity for Max Wood here to try to really get himself in Coach Lovelady's mind that he needs some more playing time. He needs some more at-bats. If he's able to capitalize on this one opportunity, it could turn into a lot more down the road.
Could we see a bunt, Kevin? Do you think maybe this was a strategic change to get somebody who is maybe a better bunter into the batter's box? It could be a strategy that Coach Lovelady's thinking about.
Definitely could be. We see both corner infielders playing way back. And with Cam Gellinger on deck, you know he's going to be putting the ball in play. But Wood not showing bunt at all as the first pitch in the dirt. Ball 1. I think with Cam Gellinger on deck, Coach Lovelady is just content with whatever happens in this at-bat because he knows Cam Gellinger is the guy who can come up big for the Knights.
Yeah, and you know, you can't walk around Gellinger because you're going straight into Eli Putnam, who's been, and Luke Hamlin, who have been the most dangerous hitters. We see a double steal here from the Knights.
Wow. Double steal. Huge jump at second base. And those were stolen. Like, it wasn't even close, Chris. Those guys, both of those steals were.
That was incredible. I mean, Ryan Cryle got such a good jump there. David Real really had no chance to get him.
Yeah, and now the bunt pretty much out of the realm of possibility here for the Knights as runners on second and third. Of course, only the runner on third really matters in this situation. But Wood has a bunch of different ways to score a run here and win this ball game for the Knights. Infield coming in to prevent a ground ball from scoring the winning run. Max Wood, 2-0 count. Just needs to try to put one in play. That one in the dirt. Very good play from Real behind the plate, keeping that one in front of him. That could have been the end of the game for Stony Brook if that one rolled away a little bit from Real, but that's some great defensive catching from number 5 behind the plate, Real, the senior on the Stony Brook Ball Club. So Wood's going to get a 3-0 count here to work with. Infield in, as I mentioned, keeping a ground ball from scoring the winning run. If Wood can just get one into the outfield or hit a hard hit ground ball on the infield, he's got a good chance to win this one. Cam Stone taking his time on the mound, getting the sign he wants, regrouping after that unexpected double steal and then a couple of pitches in the dirt. Sort of been thrown off his rhythm. But Max Wood, number 17 here, trying to end this one. That's going to be ball 4, another pitch in the dirt. Stone's gotten very wild here in these last few pitches. And it'll be Cam Gellinger with the bases loaded and 1 out. And the infield will stay in.
And now you can't walk anybody if you're Stone. A walk brings in a run, and that's the game-winning run. So Stone's going to have to pitch into the strike zone here and hope he can get Gellinger to either strike out or ground out here and get the force out at home.
So yeah, as I mentioned, the middle infielder staying in instead of going back to a double play position. Gellinger, a guy who knows what his role is on the team, knows he can help the team win in a bunch of different ways. So he's a good guy to have up in this situation. Bases loaded, 1 out, tie ball game. And that pitch from Stone just misses outside. That looked like a good pitch, but he doesn't get the call.
Big situation for Gellinger here. He's been on fire in this series. Just done a fantastic job for the Knights.
This could be a situation where Coach Lovelady's telling his batters to take until they get a strike because Stone has gotten very wild over the last few pitches. Here comes the 1-0. There's another take. The count goes to 2-0. This Knights crowd is feeling it here. I think this is definitely a take it till you get a strike situation because both times Gellinger, I mean, he's taking a big stride, but it's not really a convincing stride that he normally takes when he swings. I think he's just sort of doing it to throw the pitcher off a little bit.
Yeah, and he's definitely taking until he gets a strike. So you see Stone finally gets one in there. Strike number 1, 2-1 count. Gellinger has been super clutch for the Knights. Gellinger has 2 RBIs in this series. He's 0 for 2 today, but was 4 for 7 coming into today with a double.
Yeah,
As I mentioned, the 2 RBIs.
Yeah, Gellinger had a sac fly back in the 2nd inning. He would take another one of those here because they would end the ball game. But here comes a 2-1. Big swing from Gellinger, but swings through it.
Yeah, and Stone brought the heat on that one. High fastball. Gellinger swings right over it. That was a big swing, too. But really, all Gellinger's got to do is put the ball into play. And that should be enough to score a run here with Ryan Cryle on the base paths.
Yeah, now he just needs to shorten up his swing a little bit. As you mentioned, of course, just try to keep it in play. Big spot here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Winning run at third base. Ball 3 misses inside. And now this is the biggest pitch of the game. As a ball wins the game for UCF. A strike is the 2nd out.
Big pitch here from Cam Stone. Could be the deciding pitch in this game.
Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Score is tied 2-2. The Knights have the winning run on third. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Gellinger is going to pop it foul out of play. And all of that suspense was for nothing. And we're going to do it all over again.
Hey, we'll at least try at least one more time. Gellinger's just looking to get a ball into play here, whether it be a pop fly into the outfield, even a shallow one with Ryan Cryle's speed, they might send him home. You never know. This could come down to a play at the plate here in this 9th inning.
Eli Putnam on deck if it gets to him. Count is still full. Knights trying to win this one right here. Cam Gellinger in the batter's box, hoping to be the hero. And he's going to send this one into center field. It's shallow.
Could drop. And
it does drop. Cryle will score. This one is over. The Knights win it 3-2. They get the sweep over Stony Brook. It's a walk-off bloop single from Cam Gellinger. And the Knights win it 3-2 here at the UCF Baseball Complex. That was just difficult for Stony Brook with the infield playing in. The shortstop and second baseman unable to get to that one in time. And an interesting moment here, we see Max Wood, who was at first base. He didn't go and touch second base, so he actually went and got in the huddle celebration with the rest of his teammates, and they were like, hey, man, you need to go touch second base. So he goes and does that, confirms the win for the Knights. They take it 3-2 here. One of the most exciting games for the Knights this season. 3-2 on the walk-off single from Cam Gellinger. Once again, the Knights finding a way to win, something Coach Lovelady has preached this whole season. Finding a way to win when you don't have your best stuff with you, and that's exactly what they did today.
Yeah, and the Knights did a great job of just finding the way to win. They've done that all season long, and Cam Gellinger comes up with the clutch bloop single to win the game. Just a fantastic job from the pitching staff. You know, we saw Jason Barr come in, pitch a great game starting the game, and then we also saw Eric Heppel come in, pitch 2 2/3 for the Knights. Did a fantastic job for them as well. And even Campbell Scholl gets his second appearance, comes in, shuts down that ninth inning, no runs allowed, and allows the Knights to come back and win this game in a great fashion. And just got to be very proud of the guys. Coach Lovelady's got to be happy. Another series sweep for the Knights. And they'll be happy going into FSU 11-1.
Yeah, and you mentioned Campbell Scholl. He's actually going to get the credit for the win in this one. But yeah, this was the story of the pitching staffs today, with the least amount of offense we've seen in a UCF Knights baseball game this season. The pitching staffs were huge. Just so many guys on this team performed well for the Knights. And as Chris mentioned, they will head into the midweek series with FSU with a record of 11-1. And, of course, that one loss was a one-run ball game to the number 2 team in the nation. So they'll be taking on FSU here on Tuesday night and Wednesday night at the UCF Baseball Complex. Those games will be right here on UCFKnights.tv again. My name is Kevin Craig. I was joined alongside Chris Losada for today's game and yesterday's game. And we'd like to thank you all for joining us. We hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we hope you're back here on Tuesday night for the FSU game.